Don't put him on me, just put him on that screen.
Total phosphorus and carbon nitrogen bottles coming. They should be here this week. We'll get those sent. And I seen where David Hutch asked for information. We know, we sent that information to him, the performance annual review and then the, tomorrow, if you copy me on anything you send him, I think you tell. Reach back out again, and I'm
Still running things over.
we got to see.
All that does is encourage people to do it.
Guy called me out of the blue, said he wanted to come down there and I was looking at modular about underhand. I thought, won't be any money in the budget this year for that. He said, I ain't been about a month since we talked, and I was like, no, we need that information in April. Yeah. He said they slow right now. It's the big deal to run out.
Gotta be me, that's one of the slow times.
He's gonna give me some, I got his point of view, listening to what he had to say. We'll get some numbers from him, at least we'll have some. Might get somebody else if we ever have a chance to give us another idea. He wants to leave the brick outside of the modular. He said because of the way he got it, building, he said, can't get them under here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, we're good, we're good. Oh, no, it's okay. We're not gonna be here for long. Thank you.
All right, we'll call the Town of Boiling Springs Town Council meeting to order for September. If you'll bear with us, before we actually get to business, I'd like to take a second just to recognize the newly elected student government at Crest High School. Tonight we have Communications Manager Emma Melton with us. We have from the Communications team, Kelsey Crawford, Addison McMurray, and Laura Womack. We have the Student Body Secretary, Anna Jones. We have the Student Body Chief of Staff, Sam, what's your last name, Sam?
Ford.
I'm sorry. I'm blinking because the Chief of Staff made me laugh. And we have the Student Body President for 24-25 as well, Sydney Thomas. We want to recognize you guys for your leadership and your willingness to serve. And not just for the future. You guys are not the leaders of the future or tomorrow. You're already making a difference. You're already making an impact, not just at the high school, but in the community. Because I know who you are. So thank you, we really appreciate it. And if you don't mind coming up to the front, then we would love to get a couple pictures made. If the council would want to join, you can. Get one out and put a selfie. You better. Yeah, you go up behind the page there, pick on your own signature. Or I guess you could just send it.
Your phone's not showing up.
I've known Sam Ford for a really long time. Hopefully not a sign against the council.
Matt, you gotta switch in. Come on this way. Everyone switch that way. Alright, y'all switch in over there.
Sure, people.
Act like we can get them.
All right.
I'm gonna have to.
Come this
Sorry,
second.
y'all. Alright, everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. I took 15 pictures.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
That's a great talk.
They have an excuse about having to study AP biology or something like that, and that's why they're gonna bail out. We should make them stay for the minutes. The one is my daughter, Sydney, student body president, but I do know all those kids, and they really are phenomenal. There are a lot of phenomenal young people in our schools. With that being said, council, have you had a chance to look at the agenda, and are there any changes, or is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'm making a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
All right, that's Councilman Wood with the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Thomas. Any further discussion on the agenda? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise opposed. That carries unanimously. All right, on to community reports. Gardner-Webb University, Mr. Evans.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad they stepped out for AP Biology because speaking in front of the entire student cabinet is nerve-wracking. Business as usual. Academic year is in full swing. I believe we just started our second week of classes. It's hard to believe. I feel like summer just started. Enrollment's trending up, 450 new freshmen. That's compared to 413 last year, which is a statistic we're very proud of. Sports are in full swing. Football was just home this past Thursday. Volleyball and soccer both have started up, and we have a team you may have heard of, Wake Forest, coming to Gardner-Webb on Friday. That's big league soccer coming to a big league school. So come in and check that out. That is free to attend. And go ahead and mark your calendars for October 19th for the homecoming game. That'll be an entire weekend of festivities, starting with a barbecue competition and Hall of Fame on Friday night, rolling all the way into Sunday. So go ahead and clear your calendars there. The CAF is open. Some of you attended the grand opening last week. I want to remind everybody that the food services are open to the public. So Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, the Bo's Smokehouse, the barbecue and the cafeteria are all open to the public. So we'd love to have you join us. And then the last thing I have for tonight, family weekend, September 28th. That'll occur before our next town council meeting. We do have a concert featuring the Local Boys, and that's the name of the band, not just the guys down the street. Howtree and Mason Cole. Tickets are $16 for adults, $10 for children. This is a tailgate and a concert where food is provided, so folks just need to register before they attend. There will not be tickets sold at the gate. So thanks for the chance to be here. Appreciate you guys.
please pass along the thanks for the invitation to speak at orientation. That was
Appreciate you.
Offered. I made my joke about the one stoplight town and nobody laughed. It's tough. Tough laugh. The TDA is here to present.
Good evening, thank you for having me back. I feel like I am a regular occurrence now, between the Greenway and the TDA. But the TDA is moving forward, we're doing a lot of great things. We're looking forward to meeting with Kimberly Lancaster. She is the new manager for American, so we are hopeful to have her at our meetings and see how we can make that move forward. The mounting brackets and the open signs are in, they are with the town, and the town is handling distribution and scheduling for that, so that everybody doesn't try and get one at once. They look really nice, I'm sure that Zach has already shown you. The TDA hosted our state magazine's editor, last week, and showed her around Bowling Springs. We did, Shady Side Drag Strip, the Greenway, and the campground. She was also taken to dinner in various locations around the county while she was here. If we do not end up with Shady Side Drag Strip having an article in our state in the next year, I will be very, very surprised. She was extremely interested, she took a lot of notes, and she took a lot of pictures. So I think she's excited about the fact that it is a family-owned business, that they've been here for so long, and that the heritage of racing in North Carolina, I think they think they can make something out of that. So I'll be surprised if we don't end up with that. And to finish up, the TDA has been invited to the newest establishment coming to Bowling Springs, which is the Mansion, which is going to be bed and breakfast, the conference center and wedding venue, which is out on Whitaker Road. It's my understanding that is going to be the old Townish Mansion. We are looking forward to going out there, meeting with the management out there, and having her show us around. So we'll be looking forward to coming back and giving you a update on that, or having you out there with us that day. And other than that, I don't have anything. If y'all have any questions, speak now.
All right, Mr. Anderson. Southeastern Tourism.
Okay, Isaac's gonna be my little clicker person over here, cause I couldn't get it to work earlier. Good evening, council. I'm Renee Welch, Program Support Specialist here for the town of Bowling Springs. And I wanted to thank y'all, first of all, y'all and TDA, for sending me to Marketing College down in Macon, Georgia. I went from June the 2nd through the 7th, and I was honored to attend this college. So, just want to give a small presentation on it, what all I learned. It's my first year, I have 3 years. It's a 3-year college. This was my first year, and we had 350 students in our first class, my class, for the first year. I learned a lot while I was out here, that we inspire to travel. I learned that tourism impacts our community and our state. I learned that North Carolina is one of the top destinations, ranked at number 5 in the U.S. visitation. The boost in tourism means more jobs, increased payroll, and higher tax revenues that benefit every resident. At first, I wasn't sure about the college. When I was sent to the college, I had no clue what I was going for. Because I just started here in February. I didn't come from this background. I came from the courts and the jail. I came from law enforcement. I was excited to learn it. I'm excited to learn it. And I learned that it was educating and advocating for tourism in the Southeast. It was more than just marketing. It was networking. It was making connections, friendships, gathering new ideas, learning the latest trends, branding, media, and different building partnerships. I learned about destination marketing, specifically targets tourists. Typically focuses on the location's overall appeal, such as natural beauty, cultural attractions, and business climate. I learned about destination branding. So we had 12 states here that came to the Marketing College. I couldn't tell you how many counties came out of that state, but our which is pulled up as our brand. Commonly, what is a brand? It's commonly referred to as the process of identifying, crafting, nurturing a unique identifier of your destination. It's building a story around the key elements and values that highlights the forming reputation in the eyes of the visitors. Our brand is the power of storytelling, but in the 12 states that showed up, our brand came up as number one as the worst brand, because our brand didn't tell anything by looking at it. I learned about networking, social media, how to do brochures and newsletters, the current trends, and your updating photos. Learned how to work together with their county, small businesses, and local hotels to get our information out. We explored cultural and environmental impacts of tourism, what makes our town more attractive and family friendly. If it's parades, memorable, I'm so nervous, y'all. I can't even go on. Remembrance memorials, all-star games, river attractions, farmers markets, fairs. We emphasized on COVID-19 and special holidays like Juneteenth, Memorial Day, and how it plays a role in today's society. We talked about how each town made different, how they profited. One town took their local mall that was empty and they gutted all their stores and they made it the largest pickleball court, which brings in a ton of revenue for them. We learned we didn't have to start a new event, but merging successful events together all come together. You didn't have to start something new. If you just merge with another successful event, you'll be pretty successful. We talked about some states are doing an all-kids farmers market, which would be great in our park, having all-kids farmers market. Bluegrass festivals, street food festivals, pet ideas. Nowadays, everything revolves around pets. Pet Fest, Dog Days of Summer, Halloween, pet parades, because of celebration of pets and their people. We incorporate branding in our job fair handouts. We talked about people are more likely to hold on to promotional items than just let's just say a coaster. Something to bring them joy, incorporating fun elements in the giveaways, leaving a lasting impression on attendees, associate our branding with a positive experience in our town community. We talked about keeping it short, keeping it fun, relevant, functional, trendy, and practical at all times. We talked about luggage tags, unpack here, can coolers, rocking our river, seed packets, come grow with us, stress balls and baseballs, pop sockets, tape measures because our little town measures up. We studied travel, studying travel and tourism gave me the knowledge about different products, structures and operations within the tourism industry, as well as teaching me about operations. I learned about the data collection analysis of the 4 P's of marketing: product, promotion, price, and place, how to develop effective marketing and communication strategies, and more. Finally, STS does a remarkable job on providing top-notch education, advocacy, and networking opportunities to those in our industry. I have connections and memories that will last in a lifetime. It's an investment to our town, especially for anyone entering hospitality and tourism-related role. I'm looking forward to the ongoing education in the next 2 years of the Southeast Tourism Society marketing. I'm excited to expand my knowledge and to better market our destination. Every success story is built upon hard work and the right resources. And thank y'all for sending me.
Thank you. Good job.
Sorry, I'm so nervous.
All right, Mr. Wood. First, thank you for the opportunity to present and speak on something tonight that's very important to us, and I believe very important to both the town of Warm Springs and also Gardner Webb University. Understanding that the town does need to conduct some business tonight, I'll be as brief as possible. First, I'd like to read a letter addressed to the town council. Honorable members of the town council, we are writing to propose the renaming of College Avenue to Woody Fish Avenue in honor of a distinguished individual whose impact on our town and Gardner Webb University has been profound and enduring. In 1971, Woody Fish first traveled down College Avenue, embarking on a journey that has since defined much of his life. As a student athlete at Gardner Webb University, Woody played under the esteemed coach George Litton, and his athletic ability as linebacker was evident, culminating in his participation in the 1973 Poultry Bowl, the first and only known bowl game in the university's history. Woody graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education, marking the beginning of a career dedicated to serving others. Upon graduation, Woody Fish pursued a path in coaching, earning a Master's of Arts in Health Education in 1983, and his tenure as head coach of the Running Bulldogs began in 1984, where he achieved a record of 72, 71, and 1, securing 2 South Atlantic Conference titles and led the 1992 team to NAIA National Championship game held here in Bowling Springs. Additionally, Woody served as Gardner Webb's athletic director for the 3 years during this period. After leaving Gardner Webb in 1997, Woody continued to influence and mentor others through coaching and administrative roles elsewhere. However, he returned to College Avenue in 2006, taking on various leadership roles within the university, including Assistant Vice President of Development for Athletics, Associate Vice President of Development and Alumni Relations, Vice President for External Affairs, and Special Assistant to the President. His final role before retiring in 2020 was the head of Gardner Webb's Office of Advancement, a position appointed by Dr. Frank Bond. Even in retirement, Woody remains a cherished figure in Bowling Springs, frequently dining with friends and attending Gardner Webb sporting events. His current focus is caring for his 98-year-old father and his wife of 35 years, Pam, while still maintaining strong ties to the Bowling Springs community. Woody's lifetime of service to both Bowling Springs and Gardner Webb University exemplifies the spirit of dedication and community we hold dearly. Renaming College Avenue to Woody Fish Avenue will not only honor his significant contribution, but also celebrate his enduring connection with the town of Bowling Springs. We respectfully request that the town council consider this proposal to rename College Avenue in recognition of Woody Fish's remarkable legacy. From a personal standpoint, I can tell you that had it not been for Woody Fish, I would have never came to Bowling Springs and Gardner Webb. And I'm very appreciative and thankful for the fact that he gave me an opportunity to get a college education. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of young men just like me that Woody gave an opportunity. Many of those individuals with very little positive role models in their lives. So from my standpoint, he has been an exemplary role model helping develop young men to be positive contributors in today's community.
I'd like to also thank you for allowing us to speak on this behalf of getting this opportunity for Woody Fish. Woody has done a great job with our young men. Me personally, I'm Charlie Harbison. Some of you guys probably don't know. I'm a Gardner Webb grad, and actually, I left after my 4 years to pursue pro football, and I had a short stint, and then I didn't get my degree. Woody Fish gave me an opportunity to come back to Gardner Webb to coach and get my degree. So I went for that. He talked me into it. And so there was an opportunity for me to come back to school. And with that being said, that propelled me to get an opportunity to be seen by other coaches. So I've been able to coach over close to 40 years. I just recently retired. And I had an opportunity to coach with I met Woody because I coached with Ellis Johnson. That when Woody Fish became head coach. Then I was in USFL. Then he got me to come back to school. So I coached and played. Played in the spring, coached in the fall, and also went to school. Be able to get my degree. I'm blessed because he encouraged me. And he coached my brother, James, and he coached Terry McGowan. That I was able to coach these guys. And then then after that, Woody reached out to Longs to get funds to get me back in the Bulldog Club. I never really got in the Bulldog Club after Woody Fish. And then I also was able to put funds into the university. And what, anything that go to the university also go benefit Town of Bowling Springs. And so Woody has been a great, close friend to this day. Matter of fact, his wife is my classmate from middle school, high school, and also Gardner Webb. I call her my sister. And I threaten him all the time, take her my sister. So, and that's in all fun, but I love him. I love his wife. These guys here bless me. I was able to coach, and so I'm thankful. And your dad was my coach. Well, not my coach, my teacher at Crest. He's the principal. All right. That's thank you.
Good afternoon. I just want to speak for myself along with these guys, and thank y'all for the opportunity to listen to us. But the touch that I would add to what these guys are saying is I'm an employee of Walmart, and the tentacles of Woody Fish exist through his players. I've been able to touch lives in my position, thousands of people in your community, in this area, Cleveland County area, Rutherford County area, and being back in this area, his influence and what he did for me helped me to help others. And it continues to grow because all the people that I've reached out, that I've employed from Gardner Webb, or employed from your town, or employed from Shelby, the entire area, we're able to continue to help others. Because that's the one thing I require for everybody that I hire, from an hourly role to leadership role, to reach back into the community and help others. So that's an indirect way of how his legacy continues on, regardless of the football aspect.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council?
I have for each of you, just,
Comment and question. Question, comment is, I applaud you gentlemen, and I want to let you know Woody Fish is a close personal friend of mine, and I support your endeavor. But having said that, I'm not sure, and I probably would be beyond my expertise, maybe Mike or Chief Phillips or someone would, since we're talking about a state road, I'm not sure that the town has the authority to rename that road. Is that correct? Is it Chief Fish or Mike was here?
Yeah, so, we would need to, I'm sorry.
Our town manager is sick, and so is piping in from virtual world. So if you're hearing voices.
Where is that?
So we would need to formally request that in writing to North Carolina DOT. The only section we can request is the section that's in our jurisdiction, which runs from roughly the eastern boundary of town, Route 150, all the way through the Salt Lake to the western boundary of town. College Avenue itself, the entirety of that road, runs from the town's western boundary, right there at West Homestead, all the way to South Lafayette Street, where it changes into DeKalb Street. So I think Councilman Green, your question was, can we do it by ourselves? No, we would need to ask DOT. If it's a town street, then there is a process that we go through to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, comments?
I want to make a comment, it being College Avenue, that it would affect a lot of people's addresses. That College Avenue is an address, so all those addresses would have to be changed to Woody Fish Boulevard or Avenue. So logistically, I think that could present a problem as well. That's just my thought on that.
And I had another thought on the way here. I noticed when you go out to East College, when you turn to Dixon Boulevard, there's a sign there that says something about Bobby Bell.
Mm-hmm.
The road wasn't renamed, but there's a sign there that says honorary Bobby Bell Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if something like that would be possible. I know they didn't change the name of the street or anything, there's just a sign there that says honorary Robbie Bell Boulevard. I don't know if gentlemen, y'all would entertain something like that. I do wanna say that I agree with, Councilman Wood, that changing the name of the boulevard, it actually was proposed once before, and I adamantly opposed it. This was a long time ago, because I had a business on East College Avenue, 104 East College Avenue, and I just opened my business, just bought a new sign, and, you know, I was gonna have to change my sign, so, and I do know that that was a lengthy process, and it was not successful, because they wanted to change it from East College to East University Avenue. And I know that DOT didn't go through, that didn't go through. But I would like to see, I would be very much in favor if there were some way that we could honor, that we could, you know, reach some kind of something that we could honor Woody, that was within our power, I guess is my statement.
Yeah. Anything closer to the college, as the committee considered anything bordering the college or within the college?
Like,
Stadium Drive could maybe be renamed to Woody Fish.
Yeah, good comment on the Stadium Drive. I would say that, there have been some, unofficial internal discussions with the university on renaming Stadium Drive Woody Fish Boulevard. And from what I understand, that is property of the university and have to go through the university for approvals there.
You said the university owns the boulevard?
Because it became private with the name.
They maintain that particular property. It's not a state maintained, road at this point.
That was my understanding after, Zach might be able to speak more to it.
Yes, so the town, abandoned our right-of-way claim to Stadium Drive a few years ago. I've got that information, I just have to look on here and find it.
Why would we do that? Why would we abandon the street? Why would we abandon the street and give it to a private institution?
I thought we maintained from the stadium up the hill to West College.
I don't know.
At that point, I thought that was part of what we were saying. Maybe not.
We're probably getting out of our discussion here a little bit.
Typically, what you would see on, privately owned and operated roadways would be a private sign, where anything the state maintained, it would be a green traditional sign. That's the delineation. Back to the comment on, going through the process with the state DOT, absolutely, you would have to go through potentially even the Cleveland County, Department of Planning or Zoning, I'm not sure exactly who that would be. But I think, if we were able to get, consent from the town council, that goes a long way in your discussions with the DOT. And I think it's, at that point, it's a matter of, understanding the impact to the community, the residents, and the potential financial implications as well.
Yes, so, if it's the will of council, we as staff are prepared to sit down with the committee. We can talk about, potential options and alternatives. I do have here where the town submitted April 16, 2019, to North Carolina DOT for us to abandon the public right-of-way for Stadium Drive, and we abandoned that to Gardner-Webb University. And so, Stadium Drive is private now, but if you all want us to get together, me and Mike and Isaac can sit down and look at the list of town-owned and maintained streets. Just, I'm going off the top of my head here, so I may get in trouble, so nobody look at Mike. But Spring and Cantrell, Memorial Drive, there's an Emily Lane that cuts through Memorial Drive. There's a portion of Casey Martin that's owned by the town. I think, in my head, those are the only ones with proximity to the university that are ours.
My only concern with those is, you lose the impact. I mean, those are not very heavily traveled streets, and I don't think there would be very much notice there. If I were you, to me, those are streets that aren't heavily traveled.
I would agree with you, sir. I think for us, the largest impact, and tying in with the theme of the sign coming into town, one town university, one community, I think it, would be, beneficial to have College Avenue, a high profile, thoroughfare coming into town, coming into Bowling Springs, also coming into the university. I think that would have the larger impact. One other quick comment to add, fully understanding that, governments aren't, typically known for, their expeditious, processes. I would just add that, we would, like to add or see a sense of urgency here for a couple of reasons. I mentioned earlier, Woody's a caretaker for his, mid-90s, father, but also his wife, who is not in the best health. We would like to see something done, for the family as much as for Woody, but also the, Gardner Webb football alumni family and friends as well. And certainly appreciate the consideration in this request.
On this request, going back to what, piggybacking on what Councilman Green said, would you all be in favor if we could do like the Bobby Bell Memorial, they didn't change the name of DeKalb Street, and we could put signage up Woody Fish Memorial Highway, and you would have signage going in and out rather than renaming the road?
Yeah.
That might be something that we could do more easily.
I think preference would be just again from, a brand benefit and associating both the town of Bowling Springs and the community together to do the main thoroughfare at College Avenue and Fisher that way. I think we really get the high visibility, the real value and the real honor and recognition of Woody at that point.
And I agree, but I think your battle is gonna be very, because I know it's been approached once about changing to East University from East College, and I know that was not successful because of the expense of signs and addresses and tax records, and so I know that was not successful. And I would agree with your urgency, and I guess maybe I would think that would be an uphill battle, and especially it would not be expeditiously.
I would agree. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to get on this month's, agenda, is we think it's important, and I think it's really, from a visibility standpoint, a great opportunity for the town council, to be a unanimous, approval and start the process to understand exactly what that looks like, from not only a process standpoint, but from a cost implication as well.
Quickly.
Commissioner, speak on this. The other option, could we revisit the abandonment from 2019?
We could revisit it, but I don't think it'd be successful.
Okay.
That would be my.
I would tend to agree based on, unofficial internal discussions that we had with, university officials.
Yeah, and for whatever it's worth, I think, I just don't think the town will be abandoning streets to private institutions itself, but that's water on the dam. But, and I would be, I guess if the town, if we vote for you to proceed, then it pretty much gets out of our hands then. And I wish I felt that you would be more, that your endeavor would be more successful. I really don't think that, I'm afraid, if I'm being honest, that I don't think it would be, because it's failed before. But if the town council, if you want us to endorse it, and then it's out of our hands.
Understand? No, and to me, again, that's the important part, that, we approach the town council, we get, unified support for this project, and we see where it goes from there.
And I think that, we've got a good conversation started, and we do respect the urgency that you speak of, and understand it, I understand it. And I think that we can continue the conversation with staff and with you gentlemen, and perhaps be in a better spot to make some real recommendations at the October meeting. I think, again, that's government speed, that's pretty fast government speed. But I really thank you gentlemen for coming to speak. I stood on the sideline with my dad watching you guys play. It's one of the highlights of my life, watching that 1992 game. And so I know you guys, have known you, and you've taken care of me my whole life, whether you knew it or not. And I've known Woody that long too, so I really do appreciate you coming out and expressing your views. And I think that over the next month, we can, make some headway on this.
Well, Bowling Springs and Gardner Webb University is a special place, there's no question. Just look at the camaraderie that we have with some of our teams. We still, gather and we still honor each other, and it's, again, a very special place. So I certainly appreciate your willingness to take this into consideration, and we, definitely appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Is anyone else signed up for public comment? That's something on the agenda, nobody signed up. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. If there are no requests for amendment to the consent agenda, is there a motion to approve?
I move the consent agenda be adopted.
Councilman Green with the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Thomas with the second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise opposed. All right, that carries unanimously. Moving on to regular business, the community development block grant. Mr. Parker, are you in on this?
Yes, sir. So the Community Development Block Grant comes to us through the Foothills Regional Commission. The joke or moniker I always use with this one is, there are lots of grants that do lots of things, but this one is a real actionable and useful grant, because it will potentially allow the town to reach out to individuals who are in a certain income threshold, and then we can assist them with needed repairs on their homes. And so if you all would look at, I'm sorry, I'm flipping through my packet here, page 45 of your agenda packet, you've got the staff report for this grant. We would be the lead entity along with the municipalities of Lattimore, Hopewell, Lawndale, Hazer, Kingstown, Bellwood, and Foster. Alan Toney and the economic development team at Foothills will administer the grant. They will do the paperwork, they will do a request for proposals, and get one qualified contractor who will then work with individuals within that income threshold I mentioned, and that threshold is found on page 50, I think it's 54, no, it's 55. So on page 55 in your agenda packet, you can see the income threshold, and it's anybody that get priority score. So if you're in the extremely low income, which is for some reason the middle, I don't know why it's the middle. So that's federal government. So if they're in the extremely low, they would get first priority, then very low, and then low. And essentially what we can do, and you all have the application there in front of you, and that application is on pages 46 to 54. We can do any of these repairs that need to be done. So broadly speaking, they're in categories like water, wastewater improvements, streets, but we're gonna look mostly for foundation system repairs, repairs to floor system and wall systems, roofs, plumbing, electrical, and HVAC repairs, windows, doors, and egress systems. What this would require from the town of Boiling Springs is that when Foothills does all of the procurement, they do all of the RFPs, they choose a contractor. That contractor is gonna get a list of prospective homes and go out and get a price for the repairs on those homes. Foothills is then gonna get us that price, and they're gonna say, okay, we need to pay this to the contractor. So they'll give that invoice to Rhonda. Rhonda will run it through like a regular invoice. Me and Rhonda will sign the check, and then that check goes to the contractor. Rhonda will then take that invoice and flip it, send a copy of it to the state, to the CDBG grant people, and she will tell them, hey, we paid this money, here's the invoice we received, and they will mail us a check for that amount. We can also, and this is disclosed in that staff report as well, we can bill them for administrative time. The deal that we've worked out, the total grant amount is $950,000. There is no match from the town required. North Carolina Commerce will allow us to use 10% for admin costs, that's $95,000. Because Rhonda and I are the ones signing the checks, we've asked Foothills to let us keep $40,000, and then they can keep $55,000. And then that remaining $855,000 is used for renovations. Now, Isaac and I will be the ones identifying projects in the town of Boiling Springs. Originally, the town was not in the scope for this, but because Foothills had an additional partner they thought was was gonna be able to come through with it, but they haven't been able to. They came to us and asked if we would sign on. So they know our expectation is that of that $855,000, a lion's share of that should come to Boiling Springs. And so when we talked about that income distribution sheet there that was on page 55, typically, like if Cleveland County administered the grant, then it would be everyone, all the projects for the extremely low income individuals would get funded first. Then it would go to the very low income, then it would go to low income. That's not how this is gonna work. It's going to be the projects in Boiling Springs that are extremely low income get funded. And then we'll take some of the money that's left and send it to our neighboring municipalities. And then that way we will be able to get a lion's share of that funding, because we're the ones who are doing the work. Trying to think if there's anything that I left off. The catch to this is that we will need 2 public hearings. The first public hearing can occur at the October 1st meeting. The second public hearing will need to be a special call session of council. And I have got potential dates for that if you all are interested in moving forward.
Questions or comments from council regarding this grant possibility?
I think it's a great possibility, and I sat down at length and talked to Zach about this, and, I feel like for the lower income citizens of this town, for somebody to be able to come in and put in a new deck or redo their bathroom, put a roof on their house, there's a lot of things that can be done to help out the lower income families in our community. And the way I look at this, it's a win-win. Basically, we get paid $40,000 to write checks, is what this amounts to. Zach, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, sir, that is what it is.
I agree, that's, it's a win-win, why would we not want to help, we have an opportunity.
But you are not going to need additional administrative help to accomplish this?
I think that in an absolutely ideal world, we would like to bring on someone, as part of our finance department staffing plan. I think we've all discussed this. We would love to get Rhonda some additional help. I think that $40,000 goes a good way in doing that before we have to look at the next fiscal year's budget, and to bring on an additional staff member in the finance department who could do, assistant finance director / grants administration and management. I think that $40,000 would likely be used there. If we don't get that $40,000, or if council did not feel like we needed to add that additional position, it's something that we could still do. But I think as we've all discussed, Rhonda is, her plate is quite full. And, you know, we've really wanted to look at how we can unload some of the things that she does to make it where she has a more manageable workload.
And what were the other communities that's joining in this?
Yeah. Lattimore, Hopeful, Lawndale, Hazer, Kingstown, Bellwood, and Falston.
The town of Mooresburg is not gonna be included.
Mr. Tony, he did not tell me the town of Mooresboro. I wondered why not Mooresboro, but I did not ask him.
Okay. Thank you.
Further comments or questions?
And who determines how much goes to each municipality?
So it's based on the project cost, and so it's, that's why I say we will actually have a driver's seat, we'll be in the driver's seat on decision making. We won't be able to get all the money, but, you know, as the lead applicant, we'll be the ones holding the money, and we'll be making those applications. And so Mr. Tony and I have discussed that we're the ones doing the legwork, while of course we would like to help our neighboring municipalities and be good stewards of this program. Our expectation is that we would have the lion's share of this funding to achieve the projects that are identified in Boiling Springs. so if council wants to move forward, what we will do at our next council meeting is have an MOU presented to you all, where we enter into a memorandum of understanding with Foothills on the administration of this program and outline our expectations for them and then what they expect from us.
Comments on how to proceed? We've heard from a couple in favor. Couple
Good,
against.
better proceed.
Yeah, so move forward with it.
Do what exactly, Mr.
We don't need any motion or anything, do we? Oh, we need a
We
motion
do.
to have the public hearing.
Yes, sir. So we'll need, a motion to have a public hearing on October 1st, 2024 at 6:30 PM. And then another day in October, it can be, October 9th or 10th. That's as, close as it can be, so any date after the 9th.
And what's the second one for?
That's the requirement for the grant, because it's a federal grant. So Mr. Tony will actually be on site at both of those to alleviate any of the community's concerns about what's going on. But the federal government, because it's federal government money, they require us to have 2 public hearings. It's very weird. I don't know
Be a
why.
call meeting and that'd be the only item on the agenda,
Yes, sir.
which should be very short.
Yes. But we would meet just for the purpose of having that public hearing. And the Foothills Regional Commission, they do all those advertisements for us. The reason we couldn't have it tonight is because, there's something about the Shelby Star. You have to submit it, it runs the next week. And so by the time you go to the online submission portal, if we didn't have enough time, I want to think that we tried to do it on a Tuesday and it couldn't run until the following Sunday, so.
Is there a motion to, sorry, Zach, is there a motion to hold the public hearing on October 1st and then a follow-up meeting on a particular October date?
So,
I second.
I'll second that.
Okay, do we need to identify the date probably for
Yes, sir.
October 10th?
Okay.
Is that?
I will not be able to attend, but that's fine.
What's the second date?
Nine.
Right?
Either you can't do anything.
I can do the first date, not the second date,
But
9 or 10,
or you can't come to the.
that's fine. I'm not opposed to moving forward.
The ninth is,
It's Wednesday, isn't
it's Wednesday night and
it? Yeah,
Thursday night, convention.
So the 10th is the Thursday.
Tenth.
I can do either, but I prefer to do the 8th or the 10th, not do the
Yeah.
9th.
So it has to be after the 9th.
The 10th.
I can do the
So
10th.
Councilman Wood with a motion to hold a public hearing on October 1st and then again on October 10th. Councilman Green, I believe, made that second.
Yes.
Any further discussion? All those all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? All right then. The next thing up is the manufactured home district, Mr. Parker.
Mr. Cook is gonna lead this discussion.
All right, Mr. Cook, apologies.
Do you want me to come up there or can I sit here? Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, come to the, you can go.
I'll switch my hats. Okay. Good evening, council. We brought this before you, months ago. I think it was probably March, is when we last discussed it before all the budget and things like that came in and grant season started. But we've talked with it through the planning board, and what it is the manufactured home overlay district. So it's the respectful planning and growth of manufactured homes within Boiling Springs, including the ETJ area. And so some of the discussion has been, can we do a distancing idea, making sure that there's not a ton of manufactured homes coming in that would lower property values, but instead if we put them in a certain area, in an overlay district, that would not be suited for a future business or would not be suited for, an apartment complex or something like that, but some land that would sustain manufactured homes, could we do something like that? And according to state statute 160D 909, I think it's 909, says that we can create an overlay district. And so what I've got for you tonight is two options after the text amendments, but we'll come back to the text amendments. So your two options that the planning board discussed with staff, one on Rockford Road, which consists of 3 to 4 parcels, and one on Old Cliffside Road, which consists of, I think, 12 parcels, 13 parcels. And so what this would do is, if you wanted to come and put a manufactured home in Boiling Springs, it would have to meet the text of the ordinance in our UDO, giving size requirements, and it would have to be through a special use permit in the R20 district that is overlaid by the manufactured home overlay district. So again, this is to preserve property values and make sure that we are using land effectively, because we only have so much land in town limits and in our ETJ. So both of these places, that, I don't know if you have the map in front of you, but they are highlighted in red. There's not sewer in that area, so it couldn't be used for small businesses or economic development like that, but it would suit manufactured homes. The text amendments, the only thing that I added is just the MHO, which is one of the overlay districts. We already are in the airport overlay district, which gives some height restrictions on cell phone towers and things like that. And there's a few others, like our downtown overlay district, which gives design standards to local businesses downtown. Article 7, section 3.4 is just the special use permit, and it references the code. And Article 7, section 6.11 just states that all manufactured homes from when the ordinance may be adopted must be placed in the MHO. Sorry, I know that was a lot. There's 3 text amendments and 2 potential map amendments, but I am open for any questioning, and Zach can help me out as well.
Questions or comments from council?
I reviewed both of those options, and I would not be in favor of option 2. Option 1 seemed most feasible to me, and I know there is a manufactured home in option 1 now, but it's dilapidated and not livable. There may be more than one, but I don't even know of one.
You said in option 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's down by the trash dump. Right?
Yes, sir.
I know a manufactured home in Homestead.
So in terms of action, we need to.
I just need a, yes, just some sort of recommendation that I can take back to the planning board. They want to give a recommendation to you that seems feasible and not outlandish in either direction. It's just following the respectful growth that we're doing and making sure that we're using our land effectively.
Other comments on option 1? Or?
Well, we talked about affordable housing many times in the past, and why couldn't we use both options?
That's definitely something that we can do. I know in 160D section 909, it talks about an overlay district has to be contiguous parcels. And so I think it would have to be one or the other, but Zach, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it would have to be just one, but I can look into it being both.
Yeah, I'm just curious, but I think, like Mr. Wood said, I like the option 1. I know that that's an area that needs to be developed, and it might be better suited for manufactured homes than some other place. So we just need a motion, or do we need just a consensus and
Just
discussion?
Yeah. Yeah, just something for me to take back to the planning board. That way we have a better idea of what to bring for October.
So you would send it to the planning board, then the planning board basically would come back to us with probably the same thing? Is that?
Roughly, but more in, yes, but more in legal speak.
Right.
For us to put in the.
But I think that was the essence. I mean, before it was like, we're gonna have this overlay, but we're gonna make it where you can't have anything. And I think this is a good option to be able to keep us out of some legal situations and to provide affordable housing options if people choose.
Yes.
So thank you, it looks like it worked, I like option one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, council.
And finally, in business, recreation update, Mr. Parker?
Yes, sir. Let's see, I'm sorry, I'm flipping through my notes. So the Warwick Springs Little League program is currently looking into setting up a 501c3. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. They're setting up a 501c3 right now. They are also working with some community partners. I spoke with Mr. Edwards this week. He said that they've had several community partners who may not be willing to donate hard cash, but they would love to do in-kind work. He said that he's had several people who mentioned that are professional landscapers who said they would be willing to come down and assist with field work, landscaping. Fence company he's working with is willing to do some fence repairs. Obviously, any of those things that are going to be a third party using town facilities are going to come before you all before they're allowed to do anything to them. But I wanted to let y'all know that. And then also, there's a travel ball team that's interested in using the field. They currently use our field on Sunday evening and Wednesday evening. Mr. Edwards and I have met to discuss this team. Their coach is also willing to help maintain the fields. That travel ball team is also interested in using our fields for a tournament. And he's willing to split the gate money and let the Boiling Springs Little League program get the operate the concession stand for 100% profit. And so I think that's an exciting prospect. Again, that would need to all get clearance through you all, and we would go through all the insurance and make sure that Maxwell Hamrick is that they're comfortable with those risks. In a kind of maybe a surprising kind of thing here is there's actually been a lot of discussion about putting up or maybe somehow getting a temporary fence so that the fields can also be used for fast pitch softball. So there's been a lot of discussion about that as well, and hopefully there will be more to come. So I wanted to provide all of you with that update.
Questions or comments on that? Kind of update.
Just a comment, I've heard a lot of excitement about it. I've heard a lot of people who are really enthusiastic about the possibilities here. We're glad to move forward with this.
Did Mr. Edwards indicate sort of where he was with the assessment? He said he's gonna do an assessment, give us a dollar figure or, some kind of rundown of what needs to be done.
Yes, sir. I'm hoping to have that to you in October. And I'm hopeful that Mr. Edwards can get him back, and then also maybe some of his board members to get in some more of the meat of that, because as fall approaches, and we meet once a month, so it's we only get 3 months of fall in our meetings, but it'll very quickly become time for us to start actually executing legal agreements and letting them take over whatever role potentially council wishes for them to have. I neglected to mention that he also said, that they are potentially gonna have a festival. He would like to have a festival out there. I can't remember what they call it. Maybe it's like the Grandstand Festival.
Yeah, that's it.
So they're wanting to do that and center it around the start of this new baseball league, but have other attractions as well. I thought that would be something really interesting that we could do, especially considering the work that Tracy and Renee have done on moving some of our music on main events into the park. I think that's a natural tie-in.
Mr. Parker, you're up, but just know that we have a mute button on you tonight.
No, I actually only have one thing.
So you're done, you're done.
You're done, Nick.
If you all remember, Marty, who was our International Economic Development Council consultant who was here last month, he sent a list of questions for you all to complete. If you all would answer those for him, and I think either you could send those to him or you could send them to me, either one, and we'll be good to go. The only other thing I had was that North Carolina DOT is, they provided me an update on the road paving schedule, and I could not remember if I'd already told you all this or not, but, they are planning to pave from the stoplight to Highway 18. They had originally planned on doing that sooner rather than later. It has now been pushed out a couple of months because they received another contract to pave another section of Shelby Bypass. But that project has already been let out to bid and awarded to Asphalt Paving of Shelby. So they'll be paving what is East College Avenue. We've requested that they do their work at night so that it doesn't disrupt traffic, and they are able to accommodate that request. The bridge on McBrayer Homestead to the north of town is scheduled to be finished at the end of September. And so I'm hoping that, they're gonna repave from the bypass down to Skinner Road anyway. So I told them if they're gonna repave to Skinner Road, they may as well just go from the bypass all the way down North Main to the stoplight and to make that left turn and go out to Highway 18. So they're gonna come and reevaluate North Main Street. With that, Mr. Mayor, that is all that I have.
Thank you, sir. And, feel better soon. Tonight we'll go left to right, and we'll go right to left next time, if that's okay. Councilman Ellis?
Thanks for bringing all the information about Woody up. I guess I've been friends about 40 years. I didn't play with him, but he was a former roommate, and played football, and I played basketball. So maybe we can move on. Councilman Green, it's a process, guys, but I would hope we get something done. It'd be better than nothing at all. So that's where I stand in that. So thanks for coming. Garden Web, appreciate you being here. A lot of things going on in Garden Web. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Wood?
Yeah, I would second that. I came to know Woody in 1972 when I started school at Garden Web. And, I grew up in Georgia, and he was coaching football down in Georgia, and he was scouting teams at my home high school team. So I've known Woody for quite some time. He's a great guy, he's meant a lot for this community and for our university. One other thing I would like to say is that last week we did a tour, Renee, Isaac, Zach, and myself, we went to Albemarle, the lithium plant. That was an amazing tour. Just one thing, that the old pit there is got a lake in it that's 150 foot deep, and they're draining that pond. It's gonna take them 18 months to get the water out of that pond, that lake, 150 foot deep. And they're taking the water out, and without having to, they're refiltering and recycling the water and putting it into King Creek, I think it is. But they're doing things way above and beyond what they should have to do. But these people are very, very community and civic organized. And I mean, they're all over in this community. They're awesome partners for our community, not just Bowling Springs, Shelby, Kings Mountain. Really, really, really good. A good civic partner for all of us, and we should be proud to have these folks in our community. They're great people, and that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Litton?
Thank you to those that came out and presented tonight. We appreciate you, and we appreciate our town employees for presenting tonight as well. And I hate to say it because it dates me a little bit, but I was at the Poultry Bowl in 1970.
I was too.
Thank you.
Gainesville, Georgia, Chicken Bowl.
Councilman Thomas?
I just want to touch on the whole idea of our branding again, And Renee, thank you for highlighting that presentation. You know, I've been talking about business development and how that can broaden our tax base and our revenues. We've been a veteran community for a long time, and we've paid for stuff on our ad valorem tax rate by that. And, you know, if we don't continue to look at our branding and marketing and bringing in tourism, and Kim Deeren, I appreciate all that she's done too, but I really still think we need to focus really on that and bringing in more and more business. And I wasn't able to attend our business committee meeting. I had a little surgery on the 22nd, so I look forward to continue trying to recruit business and to look at our branding again. Maybe that's what we need to look at again. What does that say about us if we were last? And I don't feel that way. I really like our brand, but I know in the past we struggled with that and who we are and our identity. So thank you guys for the presentation. That's all I've got.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Green?
I'd like to add on to that, you know, I like being last. You know, I put my shirt on, my brand new shirt on, and I looked at my logo and said, what does that say? Unless you got the Poland Springs or something running, it doesn't really say anything. So I think we need to, I think when you go back next year, we don't need to be last. I do think there's an identity that we need that identity. I love the logo that's on the side of the new coffee shop. I believe that says a whole lot more than, and I know there's thoughts that went into the branding. It wasn't just something just arbitrarily picked up, but, you know, when you have professionals look at it and say, so that concerns me. I think we do need a brand that says who we are, and we are somebody. And I think our logo or whatever our brand should portray that. I'd also like to just I don't know where Tracy's probably not listening, but I always wanted to offer a prayer up for Tracy and Steve. He had surgery this afternoon, had his thyroid removed, and I understand that went successfully. I tried to uplift a little bit. I had my thyroid removed in 1999, so it is possible to have it removed, and I have no complications whatsoever. I take one little pill a day and don't know it's gone. So if you look real close, you see where I've got my throat cut. Fred, don't smile. Appreciate the guys from Woody Fish. Woody's been a friend of mine. I got to know Woody Fish when we was waiting tables in the quick snack when he was a student in Gardner Webb. If you see him, you ask him to tell you about why, when you come back, Monique want to know where the money was. You ask him, and he'll tell you what that story is. A very interesting story, very true story too. He is someone in our community that means a lot. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the community, and I hope we can find some way to honor him and Pam in a expeditiously fashion. Zach, hope you get better. Although me, Mike, a little better. Could you be sick next month? What, Zach, you sleep?
I'm not, I was laughing.
Nice having the Crest group tonight. I think that's a good touch. I think we need to do more of that type of recognition. I like the banners that go up. I like when Crest beats Burns. Or even on Friday or Monday. We should have any day of the week.
That's right.
So,
Tracy says thank you. She's watching from the live over there.
very good, very good. One other thing. Rhonda, I understand the officer showed up today. Talk to Zach about that, and I feel adamantly that we should convey to our auditors that we want our audit done on time. I mean, that's just something that has to happen. I just don't think, I'm not criticizing them or anything, but I think they should know from day one that we want our audit done on time. I live doing audits and live by audits, and if you're not done on time, when you're doing it for the government, you get in trouble real quick. So I think we just need to emphasize that we want our audit done on time, whatever it takes. And I know
Good stuff, they're all healthy so far this year.
I hope so too, but I know you're ready for her, and you do a lot of preparation work to get ready for her, so I hope that we can convey that to them, and hopefully that'll go well. I know you're ready, and I hope they are, so we appreciate all the hard work there, and that's
Thanks, sir. One quick thing and one longer thing. The October 1st meeting, I may not be able to make it because I'm tennis coaching now, and that'll be my daughter's next to last senior tennis match on the 1st, so Mayor Pro Tem may be on deck for that. I have a little bit of a different take on the brand question. It got me to thinking and writing down some things about who we are. And I noticed that a lot of the things from the tourism, from the TDA was around Boiling Springs and Shady Side and the Greenway and some other things, and none of it was actually in Boiling Springs. It was around Boiling Springs. And so I began to think about some of the things that we do have a budding music scene. The amphitheater is an amazing addition to the community. Our music's on Main that are maybe be in the park, and we've had a tradition of music in this area. Earl Scruggs is born right down the road, and that partnership with the Earl Scruggs Center is really important, I think, in the music and art scene that we have. And the Greenway and just the rolling hills around, which I think is what this logo is supposed to signify. It's just a beautiful place. It's just a beautiful place. If you look out the window once in a while, it's lovely here. And I think that's something that we can recognize as well. But like I said, it's the things that were around Boiling Springs that we were talking about with tourism. And what we have here is education. That's what we have. That's why people move here, because our schools are amazing. And what we have here is Gardner Webb. And we would be foolish to not identify that as the main reason why people are coming to Boiling Springs and sticking around for a couple of years. And as we used to say when I was there, getting caught in the web and staying for a lifetime, marrying the person that you are going to be with and have kids, and then they go to Gardner Webb, those types of things. And I got to speak at Gardner Webb orientation and to think about the new cafeteria, which I'm jealous of for sure as a student there. I mean, the new cafeteria, the new amphitheater, the new soccer building. I mean, within the last little bit, the new athletic facilities and science building. I mean, just world-class stuff going on right across the street. But it's also the people. It's also the traditions of Gardner Webb. It's the funeral that I went to for Chris Milton, who played on that 92 team. And of the overflow crowd at Poplar Springs Church. I mean, an overflow crowd, right? I mean, hundreds of people were there because they were connected to Chris from Gardner Webb from 30 years ago. And so, my dad passed away August 31st, Saturday, a year ago. And what we got to do on that day was put together a bench that was donated by Pam Fish and a group of Gardner Webb alumni who recognized the service that my dad gave to Gardner Webb for 44 years as a university police officer. Dr. Litton, I spoke to at the football game Friday night, and we talked about his years at Gardner Webb. The best point guard to ever play as a running Bulldog when they were really running Bulldogs now serves on our town council and has served for a number of years. Woody Fish, again, we've talked about Woody growing up, watching Woody coach ball and be a member of raising money for the university, impacting the lives of so many people. And so I have said this before, I don't know if I've said it from this platform. I wanted to become mayor because I can make the argument that there's nobody in this town that is more Gardner Webb than Boiling Springs. I don't know. You were in Statesville for some time, so I'll say I grew up on campus. I grew up in what used to be the campus house. I grew up in a college girls' dorm. That's a real thing. I grew up wiping up the sweat of Stan Easterling when he played basketball and watching Eddie Wilkins and those guys play in Boss Gym before right when the LYCC was built. And I love this town. I love this town so much. And I just hope that we can figure out a way to realize that it is the town and it is the university and it's the generations, not just the now, but it's the generations of people that have come through here that we can figure out a way to tie all that together for both of us, for Gardner Webb, because that isn't around Boiling Springs. That is Boiling Springs. And that's who we should be. And so if we're going to rebrand, we ought to I wish we had all the money to repaint the water tower. We don't, unless we're going to raise taxes another time. But there's a desire, I believe, to create a university town that we really do believe in the logo. So that's my speech on the logo. I appreciate everybody being here. You're welcome to stick around. We are going to enter into closed session. If you want to wait until we come out, then you can. But if not, I hope you have a good evening. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
From Councilman Thomas, second from Councilman Green with the second, and so that's a motion to go into closed session at 7:45. And we will take a 5-minute recess before we begin. Thank you, everybody.
We'll go back.
Yeah, we'll go back to Tom.
Oh, that's right.
We're gonna lose it, don't we?
That's right.
Y'all hit that hard and all, it's not really.
I wish I felt more enthusiastic.
Just
I wrote that down. You said you busy enough.
Yeah, we got, right now, number 4, number 4, and number 7 are out sick, so I don't know what's going on.
Bobby, I read
Too bad.
I know it's not named after.
My wife did it too.
Hey!
It's out like
Something to have.
You
got a good deal there.
So, I don't believe it's really good.
No, it's
How we are.
You don't mind.
You're right ahead.
If it comes to the point where you want the town council to move forward with DOT, then I'm all for it. But I really wish it would move forward.
Yes, sir. Just being honest.
Just
Probably should be, I think, staying
And I
right.
appreciate, and I don't care.
Yeah, I talked to Sid,
I just don't think.
the other Sunday.
It streets up.
I talked to, he asked me,
Revisit that.
so we had a good conversation.
I wasn't around then.
You was something, you're right, you're right.
Mayor, love your passion.
Thank you, sir.
I think this proposal will go a long way in bringing those two entities together and let's build on
I've been wanting to say that for a long
Yeah,
time.
since everybody's on, I'll tell you what Woody told me when he worked for Montelia at Twix Night. He'd go down there to the door and deliver food, and the girls would come with the door, he'd hand them her food, and he'd open her. He'd go back to Twix Night, he didn't have any money to pay for food. That's a Woody story.
Appreciate you.
Hey, we can tell a lot of tales on Wood, I can tell you that right now. Some are good.
Sir, thank you for having us.
We appreciate y'all coming out.
Thank you, thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
But I think that there's something ought to be done. Even though Bobby, I read it every time I go,